Right.
So you probably remember this, but we record all the sessions, Helen, and then send you the recording afterwards, along with a copy of the presentation, so that should you have to look at it again, it's all there ready for you to go. Please feel free to stop me anytime if you want to ask a question or nothing is clear. So we're going to ask ourselves, why do we have an asset register? And why do we want one that's something that you have no control over the infrastructure, but you do have full control over the data in it? We'll ask the most frequently asked question and answer it, and then we'll go into the asset register itself. If you'd like to do an interactive part, you're most welcome to. This particular exercise involves using a smartphone. So if you have a smartphone ready, available, well and good. If not, no problem.
Yep.
You do? Okay, great. So, oh dear, I don't know why I went there. Sorry. Let's go into the first slide. So why do we have one? Well, the first thing I'm trying to persuade everyone to do is to get out of the filing cabinet on pieces of paper and out of a spreadsheet onto something where it's readily available to all, rather than just the parish clerk, and it's available any time of the day or night. And the reporting is a piece of cake once you've got the data in there. And finally, you can store any number of attachments for each record. So let's just say, for instance, you have a park bench for which you're responsible for the maintenance. You can add a picture of the bench. You can add the details of the regular inspections, the reports that result, the photographs of before and after. And so everybody can see that what you're doing is good governance, due diligence, and all the rest of it. And then you may have noticed that I've carefully avoided talking about insurance, because everything revolves around insurance on the asset register.
Well, before you go further than that, can we go back?
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's on your next slide actually, as it just went on.
That one?
Yeah, so asset value versus replacement value.
Yes. That's a great one. So it turns out, in talking to the insurance companies, that nowadays the fire departments are very reluctant to involve their people in saving a building if there is no human life inside the building at risk. So they won't risk their own lives in stopping something that's just burning down and not threatening anything else.
Yeah.
So when your village hall burns down, you're going to have to insure it for the replacement value, because its current value is of no interest to the insurance company.
Yeah.
No,
so that doesn't mean what I thought it meant.
Okay.
So I was thinking of, that's fine, because we actually don't have any buildings.
Oh, that makes life even simpler. Yes.
That makes life much easier. Yeah, absolutely. We had buildings. We have gifted them to various organisations. So we've got rid of that. But when you do your end of year audit and you have to provide an asset list, asset register, you have two separate, well, I have two separate ones. I have an insurance one and I have the finance one.
Okay.
Is it possible to put two lots of valuations on?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So when you've put asset value and replacement value, I mean, like, I would say we've got a playground, we've gifted it, so we have to put it on our
books,
on our register as £1.
Yeah.
But obviously if we replace all the equipment, it will cost us about, I don't know how many,
50,000 quid. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that order, I know. We're doing it. And it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Because there's all these safety issues that we never used to worry about when they first built playgrounds, but now you have to worry about, children falling off and bouncing and that sort of thing.
Fall heights and
precisely.
Fall out and all that. Yeah.
Sounds like you're going through the middle of it, but it's very
well, I've been through it several times.
Oh, right.
Various situations of my life. Yeah. So I know.
Okay. So let's move on if you're all set with that one. In Parish Online, you've got three types of layers. By far the most of them are the third-party layers, all the brown ones that you see, which are very much provided by other people, and they're just read-only. You can see the data, but you can't change it. Yeah. Then there's the ones that you yourself create, which are completely your own. You control the whole structure of the layer, and you control the data of the features themselves.
Mhm.
But there is a difference in between the two called the asset register, and the structure, the style, and the geometry of the layers is all provided for you in advance. It's part of Parish Online, which means you can't change any of that, but you can have full control of the data that goes in.
Mhm.
So it's sort of a mixture of the two. If you find that there is something you want to record about the asset register, which is not already inside the structure that they give you, then you create a separate record in your parish layer, and then you just display the two whenever it comes time to display the two. That works fine. The system's very good at doing that.
Mhm.
All right, so the most frequently asked question is, can I import the data from my existing asset spreadsheet into Parish Online? And the most usual answer is no, because your spreadsheet probably doesn't have any location data in it.
Mhm.
And Parish Online, being based entirely upon geographic location, has no idea where to put your data. So
Yes.
they can't do an import for you, and you can't import it either, which means that you're going to have to transfer it from the one to the other, which sounds tedious, but we have ways of speeding it up. So let's just discuss it a little bit further. The register is a ready-made collection of layers, and the fields that they have in there are all the ones that experience shows you need to keep track of for due diligence, good governance, and insurance requirements. So most of the reasons for the data fields appearing that you see are because experience shows that they're necessary.
Mhm.
So you can't change them, but if there is something extra you need to do, you can always ask for a change, because it may well apply to lots of other parish councils. So there's something like 2,000 councils across the country using Parish Online. They're reporting now that they need to not only record the fact they've got street lights, but what sort of lamps they are, what sort of light pole it is, and that sort of thing. And so they are considering what changes to make to incorporate those ideas. And I just used to be, well, there's something called the community forum, which is fairly new, or the ticket system that you can use to say, oi, we want this as well. So obviously the more people that ask for it, the more likely they are to get it. So when you're going to transfer the data from the spreadsheet into Parish Online, you need, first of all, to work out where it's going to go inside the register. So what we've done here is we've opened up all the layers in the asset register here on the left-hand column. I'm going to go into the first one, buildings. And this is what you get when you click there. So all these categories and things that show up vary according to which layer you're in. But the only place where you get asked for the unique property reference number is here in the buildings layer, which I guess makes sense. The UPRN is a number that everybody uses to identify a specific building. So the insurance companies, the government, local councils, everybody knows their building by its UPRN. I will show you where to find the UPRN to put into your asset register. Since you don't have any buildings, it doesn't matter.
No.
So, all right. So
at the moment, we are looking, we might be having one in a couple of years' time, but we'll see.
Okay, well, I
If
can
it all
always
comes
come back.
off.
I'll make a note to come back to you in 2 years' time, Helen.
Yeah. Okay, then.
Right, I'm sure you'll still be there. So that red box that was called category,
yeah,
the list of categories available varies depending on which layer you're in. So in the buildings layer, these are all the buildings that show up in the
well, we have got a bus shelter, so there you go.
Okay, well, there you go. This is a scrollable list, so you can slide here and it'll come down all the way to the X's, Y's, and Z's. But just so that you know, there's lots of choices. Now, we're going to look at a different category just to show you that there is a difference. So if I go into the building contents layer, click on the category column, and you'll see it's a completely different list of categories. Now, there's a huge variation in this, and inside the knowledge base, which is the help desk system built into Parish Online, you get there by clicking on the cogwheel in the top right corner and selecting help and support. In there, you get the full list of layers and categories, and they're very useful video if you search on asset register. So here, if you like, I send you this in the presentation afterwards, is a bookmark so that you can go directly into the knowledge base without having to go through Parish Online first.
Mhm.
It's just an indication that they are two separate things, but you can get from one to the other, which you can also get straight into the knowledge base without having to go through Parish Online, which is a time saver.
Mhm.
Right. Hints and tips for when you're transferring your data across. It really helps if you put into your spreadsheet a couple of extra columns, one called layer and one called category, and then you fill those in for each of the rows in the spreadsheet. And the reason for that is that when you've got them in there, you can then sort on the layers. And when you're putting them into the Parish Online, you're doing all the items in one layer at one time. So you may have only one building in the building layer, but in the building contents, you might have 10 items, including, solar cells, anything else that you put inside a building, examples, desks and things like that. So you may have lots of assets there all in the same layer. So you might as well have your spreadsheet organized so they all come up in the right order. So this is one of my time-saving tips.
Okay.
So you go to the knowledge base and get in the list of categories and layers, and you go into your spreadsheet and you put one in for each row of data. And then I'm going to show you a few ways now in which you can speed up. Whoops, sorry. Let's go to there. Speed up your doing things with inside the asset register. So I'm going to say, let's go to the next slide, and then I'm going to show you these things one by one, actually in my copy of Parish Online. So here we go. Need to find Parish Online, which is in here. Now we've got running it. Well, no, I'm not. Let's just do it here. So Parish Online, login. So I'm going to go into my asset register and show you that inside buildings, if I create a new record, it's going to ask for this UPRN. So where do you get the UPRN from? Well, further down your list of layers here is something called addresses. And if you go in there and click on address plus points, all these dots show up. Every dot is a building in your parish, and everyone has a record associated with it. So you can select anyone, just click on it at random, and up will come the address plus point, and here is the UPRN. So again, if you're a bus shelter, a great question. I'm not quite sure whether UPRNs apply to bus shelters because we don't have any, but you can still find out. You can go into your address list, click on all the buttons, and zoom in on your bus shelter and see if it's got one of them. But that will be where the UPRN is.
Okay.
So if I come back to that list, that's the first item, getting the UPRN. Second item, to show list shortening in the feature editor. So let's go into doing that. If I could do this the first time every time, I'd save so much trouble, wouldn't I? There we go. Right, very slow. Sorry, let's kill that one. Go into the asset register. Let's suppose you're in building contents. You've added a feature and you now need to switch to the next layer. So you're in here. And now you say, get me to the next layer, which is building contents. Well, when you click on layers, it shows you every layer in the place. And the fastest way of getting through this long list is just to type in on your keyboard what you're looking for. So if I start typing BUILDING, try again, building. Well, that was maybe a bad shot. Let's try defibrillators. There we go. So you just type in the first few letters and it jumps straight to that layer involved. Not quite sure why it got lost on buildings, but never mind, defibrillators worked fine. And then once you're there, you can go ahead and click on all the list of things. The second thing I was going to show you, or third one on that list, is how to get through dates quickly. So one of the first things you get asked on any of these records is, what was the date that it was purchased? Well, it might well have been 30 years ago. And going back through here for 30 years on a month-by-month basis is a great waste of time.
Oh, yeah.
The tip is to click twice on the date, on the year, and you get now a scrollable list. And it's a piece of cake to go back 30 years or whatever it was. Say it was 1992 and it was May the 2nd. We bought it on a Sunday and there it is. So you saved yourself a lot of time that way.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I had to say to you. That's the shortening. That's the fast date selection. Screenshots to capture the state of dates before and after changes. Yeah. So let's go back to here. Oh, don't tell me I was still at this. There we go. So if you look at this page carefully, you'll see it gives you the last valuation date, i.e. the last time you entered anything into here. And it also last inspection date. So those dates may both have been this year, but then how do you prove that you did a record check last year? All I suggest is each time you make a change that changes one of these dates, just do a screen snapshot and save that as an attachment. And then you've got a record of what it was before you made a change. Piece of cake. Second item is to demonstrate naming attachments advantageously. Okay, so we go into naming an attachment. If you look at a record we've already created, it lets you, let me just click on here, just to show you. So once you've created a record, you then get the ability to add an attachment, a photograph, an inspection report, whatever it happens to be. And you click on them here and they add up. And then if you're doing a report, say once every 6 months, after 5 years, you've got 10 records here and you start saying, well, which is the one I want? And I'm just suggesting to everybody that the first thing they say on any name here is the date in the format YYMMDD, because then they'll all sort into numerical order and it becomes a piece of cake then to find the right one you want. So just a little tip in advance, make the attachments. I do
my minutes, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and the last thing was demonstrate adding an attachment to the asset register. Effectively, we just done it. Once you've got a page open with a record in it, then you have this ability to add an attachment. You just click on the add the attachment and it says, add any file you like from your computer. So it will take anything. It'll take any Word document, any photograph, anything basically you want to keep track of. You just click on the add attachment. So far, so good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next slide. Table view. In your asset register, you're going to have a lot of items that may easily need editing each time you do something. And the fastest way to do anything is in the table view. So when you click on a layer and you right click anywhere in the layer, it'll come up and offer you a selection of choices, one of which is table view. And this is what table view does. So we've selected the layer of buildings and it's instantly come up and show me all the buildings in our list. Okay, if you want to, you can export that list into a spreadsheet and then do whatever you wish with it. Or what I'm going to demonstrate now is how you drill down to shrink the list to a particular reason. I mean, if you have a particular task in hand, you can shrink the list down to a reasonable list. So I don't know why I keep doing this. Get patience, Stones. So I made a mistake. Sorry. So you can do a filtering on this. You're familiar with filtering in almost any product. It's the same way. You choose which column you want to filter on, like name. You want to say it contains or it starts with or it ends with a particular value. Then you just type the value in there. All right. Next slide is this wonderful report. Okay. So having put everything into your data register, your asset register, then you need to get the answers out because every 3 years you've got to go out and get 3 quotes from insurance companies or something like that. So under the menu at the top called Tools, there's something called the Asset Register Export, and it looks like this. So it comes up and says Asset Register Export. It says, what format do you want? This is a little bit misleading because at the moment, this is the only one you get. We're all hoping that we'll get a CSV format so that you can export it as a spreadsheet. But at the moment, it's simply a PDF file. then by default, it selects for you every single layer in the asset register. So you can see the 16 layers collected here. If for any reason you don't want one of the layers or more of them not to appear in the report, you just click on the little down arrow and deselect the ones you don't want.
Yeah.
You've got two options which are normally by default not included. One is maps. So if you want your report to include a map of each item where it is, the system will do that if you click here. But be wary that that generates a much larger report and therefore takes a little bit longer to generate. And the same is true that the asset register contains lots and lots and lots of items of which you may have none, like buildings, for instance. So it will automatically exclude any item that's got nothing in it, unless you tell it, I want them in, which you may wish to do if you're an extremely strange young lady. Otherwise, you won't. So then you click on Generate Report, and it may appear as if absolutely nothing is happening. And that's because the report is being generated up in the cloud, so you don't see it. You may see a couple of little arrows chasing each other around and around, just like those tigers melting in the fat at the start of the mission. And then when you finish, this grayed out open suddenly goes live, and then you can click on it. Right. And this is what you get. So here we've got a 95-page report. So I obviously went wild and so I wanted everything. And then you can just email that off to the insurance companies of your choice to get the free quotes. The beauty of it being that all three companies are then quoting on exactly the same items, and you're getting a like-for-like quotation. So that's a time saver. Once you've got the data in there, it becomes a piece of cake to get everything out. Right. So there is the choice of getting data out in different ways, and one of them is data extract. So if you're inside any record inside the asset register, you've got these three dots up here. If you click on the three dots, you get this mini menu, and you click on data extract. And then it says, rather like the table view, what do you want to extract? So we're going to say building contents, and without any filters at the moment. So when you've got the right layer on, you just click on run. And up will come the report, and then you can just go ahead and edit it as you wish. If you've not seen table view before, which you probably haven't since you haven't been involved with Parish Online that very much, it is by far the simplest way of changing everything. Let me just show you a bit of it, because I think it's worth seeing. And we'll go into my copy. We'll go into any of the asset registers. We'll go into here. Let's say I just want the table view of this one, what's in there. And you'll see it comes up instantly with a list of everything in that particular layer, but in a way that you can export it to a spreadsheet, or in table view, you can edit. So let's suppose that these dates here are both wrong and you want to change both of them at the same time. There are two ways of doing that. You can go through the asset register item by item and change it, or it's much faster to just change it here and change it here. Click anywhere to save it and you're done. So it's just, the table view is a very fast way of editing records. We would all like it to be a place that you can add records as well, but that's not very helpful to Parish Online, because of course when we add a new record we don't add the geographic information, so we can't, but we'd like to. So all right, back to the presentation, and we've really finished the formal presentation. Now it's the fun bit where you have a bit of play, and rather than play around with the asset register itself, I thought you might like to dwell on geolocation. Okay. And geolocation means putting Parish Online on your cell phone, which is just a matter of going to the correct address with your browser. And then as you walk around, the Parish Online map will follow you. And when you finally get to your bus shelter, which is what you want a photograph of, you can just take a picture of the bus shelter and it will automatically go into Parish Online. So if that's fun to do for playing with it.
Well, no, that's what I need to do.
You do need to. Perfect.
Exactly what I need to do, because I need to map where all of our assets are and
Well,
Take
this is
photos of them. So
you need a photograph of each one. Yeah. Okay, so the way to do this, Helen, is to make sure that each item is already in the asset register first on your computer,
right, okay.
right? And then we go out and we actually do it with your phone. Now, for today's purposes, I'm going to ask you to select an item around you, your desk or your computer or something, and we'll add that into the asset register so that you don't have to walk too far to get a photograph of it. You can stay in your seat and just picture it.
Yep,
Okay.
you can do that.
All right, so when you get this presentation, you'll see that the geolocation word here is a hyperlink. It takes you straight to the knowledge base article, which I recommend you do because A, it's fun. They have a wonderful video in there which shows you walking around taking pictures of park benches.
Yeah.
Which it's wonderful to watch the expressions on the faces of people walking past as you're standing in front of this empty park bench taking pictures of it. People begin to wonder how wise you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do for today's demonstration is get you to add an asset to the asset register, anything that's near you now. We put it in the appropriate layer so you can just play around with the building contents page, probably is the most suitable one, but you can select the right category and all the rest of it. And then we're going to set up geolocation in Parish Online so that then when you turn the phone on, the phone will work properly. Okay?
Yeah,
so,
try.
Right.
Do I need to, so do I need my, oh, get rid of that. Where's that come from? Do I need
you need to be in Parish Online on your computer.
On my computer. Okay, I'm on it. Yeah.
Good. So go into the asset register.
Yeah.
And select building contents.
Building contents. Yep.
Then right click on that layer and add a new feature. And you're going to add whatever you select in front of you. I would suggest when you give it a name, you put the word test in there somewhere, just so that you can always go back and delete it, unless your desk happens to be owned by the parish council, or your favorite waste paper bin is owned by the parish council. Put test in front of it so you can easily delete it later.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll do it as it is now, so it'll be fine.
Okay. So whatever item you've selected, you're going to give it a name. And in your asset register now, you need to actually add something on the map. So I suggest you, wherever you are you in your office or your home?
I'm at home, but I'm working from home. So
good. So you need to find your home in the Parish Online map and click on it so that you can save the item. So you don't need to put all the dates and the valuation date and everything else in, just give it a name, select the category and put it onto the map on your home and then save. All done?
Save. How do I say? Oh yeah, save there.
Bottom left. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Oh yes, Good. It's got a little computer on there now. Oh, that's
perfect. All right. So now we're going to set up geolocation so it'll work on your phone.
Okay.
And on your phone, what you need to do now is type in the address in the browser called parishonline.xmap.cloud/login. So just type into your browser parish online, all one word, .xmap.cloud/login. And then it should ask you for your usual password, which of course you've got clearly in your mind's eye.
Yeah, no. Hang on. I'll have to look this up because I never remember it.
I know. Don't forget this. I mean, this is something that happens over time.
It's a random series of numbers.
Yes.
So there we go. That's the password. Okay, so it is.
You logged in?
Don't know if that's a 0 or a O. It's helpful, isn't it? Oh.
Out of interest, Helen, what sort of phone have you got? Is it an Android or
Android? Yeah.
Okay. So I mentioned that because they can be fun, which is
But
another way of saying it.
Yeah, I have to have an Android because we have, well, this is my personal one actually, but I've got it logged in. Save. Yeah, because my we've got these work thing, what they call speed signs that flash up that say you're going too fast, and
Right.
they don't work on iPhones at all. So so they've actually bought me a new work Android phone. It's on the basis
Splendid.
that if I'm not here, somebody else can do it.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's when you download the data and you need to analyze it. That only runs on Windows or iPhone. Okay, or not an iPhone.
It doesn't run on iPhone at all. No.
Yeah. Okay, crystal clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So right, I've got it open on here. So search. It says address space.
Well, before you go there,
Right. Okay.
we need to set up on your computer so that geolocation works on your phone. So if you go to the main menu in Parish Online, i.e. the main page is what I mean, make sure that the feature editor is turned off. The left-hand column is just normal layers.
Yeah, got you.
Down the bottom row, next door, just to the right of the columns, is 3 vertical dots. And you can click on those.
Hang on.
Yeah.
No.
This is in your computer now.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, when you click on those vertical dots, you get a choice of geolocation on or off, and you want it to be on. And a blue dot should appear at your house, roughly.
Yeah, well, actually, not at my
if it
house.
does, then Parish Online should ask you, may I use your location? And you want to click on allow.
It's not at my house.
No one cares. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's going to take a while.
Use the location, so
it hasn't.
No.
Interesting. Okay. If you look at the middle of the bottom of your screen, is there a crosshair that looks like a crosshair, and it needs to be filled in the middle?
On.
Good. Okay. So what that means is all you've done is told Parish Online that when it's on your phone, it should find where you actually are.
Yeah.
So hopefully you've done that. So when you now go to the phone, which is the next thing we're going to do.
Yeah.
You want to do the same thing there. Make sure that geolocation is turned on. And the way to do that, I'm just sort of coming up with my.
Yeah.
Is to click on the little menu item at the bottom left. I think the bottom right. I'm sorry. I think there's 3 dots there.
I've got that. Geolocation is on.
Perfect. Now click on the X just above that.
Yeah.
And on the left-hand side, you should have something that looks like one of the licorice all sorts used to get, the black and white ones. Just click on that.
Yeah. Oh, I've got my layers.
Good. Okay. And what you want to do is to select the asset register and then the building contents layer.
Yeah.
All set?
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. So that should be roughly the left-hand side of your screen. If you then tap the right-hand side of your screen, which is the map,
it
should click on your house, or your house should be there with the computer icon.
It's pretty much on my house, yeah.
How about that? All right. Yeah, so if you now...
The computer isn't, but...
Is the computer there at all?
The computer is there. It's got a blob, but it's about a quarter of a mile down the road.
Oh, well, you're okay. You were very free in your positioning. it will gradually come closer as the GPS sort of sorts things out. But in the meantime, can you tap on the excuse me, on the icon
on the phone?
Yes. Didn't you say it was a computer? On the computer icon? Yes, on the phone.
Yeah.
And I haven't selected there. Damn it. Let me go into the asset register. Let me go into the building contents, and I've done it. Yes. So if you tap on the blue icon, the blue computer register now, it should open up. Should open up. Oh, sorry, not on the icon. Click on the licorice all sort down the bottom left, and it should come up and let you select the building contents there, and it'll open up with that category.
Yeah, it says asset register of building contents. Location can be anywhere within the building outline on the map where it's normally situated.
Okay, but has it come up and so with your computer as the record?
No.
So when we were in your computer for Parish Online, we added your your computer as an asset to the building contents register.
Oh, hang on, we've just appeared.
Good, excellent.
On my phone. Wow,
all right. So when you look at that record now and you scroll down, does it offer you the chance to add an attachment?
Oh, yes, let me see. Defibrillators. It's not on the list, that's the only thing.
It's not on the list, sorry. What list is that?
CCTV. On the list on the left, it's not giving me that option.
Okay, so you clicked on the licorice all sort.
Yeah.
And it came up and you had
the icon.
Where are you in building contents?
Yeah.
So if the building contents one is checked, there's a tick mark by it, then you should be able to just go straight into the asset when you click on the tablet. Stones.
Desktop computers on there. Yeah, no, that's there. Actually, got it. Yeah.
Okay, so when it's there, it's got something called an
attachment. Yeah.
Okay, click on that and say I want to add an attachment.
Add attachment.
And then it asks you what do you want to add, and you should get an icon of a camera.
I have.
Right. So click on that, take a photograph, and save it.
Save.
Ooh, brilliant.
How do you save it, or is it just goes in there, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. There's no save on that. So.
All right.
Marvelous. Well,
okay.
That's perfect.
So now here's the fun bit, Helen. Mm-hmm. Go back to your computer.
Yeah.
Take a look at that record and see whether your house now shows your photograph of your desk, or sorry, your computer.
Just go into. Yay.
How about that?
Yeah, I have a photo. Well, that's very clever.
Okay, so if you're going to do all of your assets, first of all, you need to make sure they're in the asset register on your computer.
Yeah.
And then when you go out with your phone, you can just do what you've just done now. You can go around each one and take a picture.
Brilliant.
And it will add the picture to the correct record, which I think is magic.
That is really good. That is such a useful thing.
Isn't that sweet? Yes, I think it's really useful. Well, it's good to hear. All right. So let me just
going to go and take all the photographs and then come back and do it. But if I can do it while I'm there, it saves me.
Exactly. Well, I had one lady on doing this course the other day. She said, this is all very well, but when I got to the middle of my village, there was no phone signal, which I thought was really sad.
Yeah, you can't deal with that, can you?
You need to be in part of the first world rather than the second or third world.
Very true.
All right, so just to summarize what we've talked about why there's a need for the asset register, how it's set up and how it fits in nationally with everybody else. We've actually used it. We've covered editing, adding attachments, reporting, data extract, and table view. And now we've covered geolocation. So amazingly, that's it. You're done. I'm wide open to you for any questions, should you have any.
No, that's brilliant, because I could see also in the list that you could add in like the asset price and then the replacement price. So actually the fact that those two are two separate things in some instances, you can either, so if I'm sending it to the insurance, I'll just remove the asset price and, the replacement price or whatever will be what it cost.
Correct. Yeah.
We just get
so. A couple of more hints and tips for this. There is no requirement to do the whole asset register transfer all at once. You can just clip away and do a little bit at a time when you've got spare time. Or my recommendation is you give it to somebody else to do. If you're surrounded by hordes of school children, they love doing things
Oh,
like
that
this.
would be so cool, wouldn't it?
Yep,
But
it absolutely is. So
well, I've
if
got
you
2 weeks
watch-
left without any meetings, so hopefully, and
okay, well, good luck.
no major things. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then I can
must-
demonstrate to them that that's what I've done.
Get this cracked then.
And the weather's nice, and I can go out on my bike and do it on my bike. See,
Of course, with your phone
You'll
in
have-
your hand, you
I
only
have
need to
to.
stop. You just snap the pictures as you drive by.
well, I will stop, but they've dug up half a village at the minute, so I can't actually drive from one end to the other
Is
without
this
going
is
the
what
very long way round.
you're putting in fibre, hopefully.
Well, sadly, it's gas.
Oh,
But
shucks.
we won't notice any difference apart from them not coming back once a fortnight to dig the road up and mend yet another gas leak. So
Do you ever watch the TV program Shetland?
yes,
You do.
yes, we love
So I live on the Isle of Wight, and at the moment the whole village is in uproar because, as you say, every single road is being dug up, and they're putting in the fibre cable to the internet, which is very nice,
Oh,
but getting there is a real pain. But
Yeah.
there's signs all over the place saying white fibre, the company who's putting the cable in. So I was off on a trip recently, which we stopped in Shetland, and everyone in the family said, go and see the house where D.I. Perez lives.
Mhm.
Remember him? So I found the house, and the road was being dug up outside it in preparation for the new series that's coming out this autumn.
Oh, okay.
So I took a photograph and sent it to my wife, and she just sent back the comment, white fibre gets everywhere. So there we are. That's the joys of traveling around Shetland.
yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, wonderful.
any questions on anything else, Helen? You're wide open to whatever you like.
No, I think that's it. I think that's quite
Finding the time
straightforward,
to paint it.
really.
Yeah.
That's quite
Okay.
straightforward, and yeah, like you say, it's just about.
Well, if you run into any issues, just give me a shout.
We fortunately don't have too many at the moment, so it's
Right.
mostly street lights, bus shelters, bins, dog bins, benches,
All the usual.
flagpole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So
even
that's
think
about it.
flagpole isn't even on the asset register, and I don't know where it was paid for, but I don't think it's even gone on there. So I need to find out if it's even ours.
Oh, you probably need to insure it in case it falls down and hits somebody.
Well, yes.
That's the usual issue with these things. Well, look, I hope it's been fun. Hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again. And give me a shout if you need any help.
Oh, awesome. Thanks so much. Cheers.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.